Hi, this is Isa Tan. Welcome to Asian Agribiz Podcast. Today, Arif Paharuddin is speaking to animal nutritionist Dr. Budi Tangenjaya about minimum crude protein levels in broiler feed.
Hello, Dr. Budi. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good to see you again here.
Thank you, Dr. Budi, for joining this podcast again. So this time we will be talking about minimum crude protein level of broiler feeds in Asia. We found that governments in the region mandate that broiler feed has a minimum crude protein level to ensure the quality. But before we discuss the relevance of this regulation, I think it is good if we flash back the reason why the regulation was created and implemented.
If we can pull back the history, what the nutrients should be provided for broiler, let's go back, for example, what National Research Council recommended in early day. The first publication is 1944, NRC, and then they revised it in 1954 until the latest one is 1994. But if you look at the early day, the science of nutrition, they stated a recommendation for feeding broiler have to be putting minimum protein level. However, in early day, they start to recommend also amino acid level, how much the minimum amino acid level to be included in broiler diet. However, during that time in 1950, early 1950, the analysis cost for amino acid become very, very expensive, which is not possible to monitor easily. They have to send it to the laboratory, and the result may take whole day to analyze amino acid. So there's reason why many governments starting to put minimum level only the protein during that time, including the calcium, phosphorus, and also how much, for example, recommended mineral, trace mineral, and the vitamin. So that's the history. But now with the advancement of the science, recommendation from NRC is changing every year. Not every year, every 5 years normally have to be updated, and then every 10 years, the new NRC we're expecting to be sometime coming this year or next year. So the science is changing while regulations still stick it in the old way. That's what my impression in many Asian countries. Over.
With that answer, and by considering that the advancement of broiler nutrition science and technology for the past more than 50 years, so is minimum crude protein level still relevant, and why?
I don't think minimum protein level become critical. If you look at digestion of the feed by the animal, what they need is amino acid, not the protein. The protein is kind of the measurement of total nitrogen multiplied by 6.25. So become the crude, what we call it the crude protein, which is not desired by the animal. What animal needs? Amino acid. So with advancements of animal nutrition, we have to consider more amino acid rather than protein. There's reason the minimum protein may not be necessary anymore for feeding the broiler.
Okay, so it is clear that it is not relevant anymore, right?
Correct. And look at the amino acid also. We are not talking total amino acid requirement. Now we are talking how much amino acid that can be digested by the animal and absorbed, and also the profile, the ratio between lysine to methionine, lysine to tryptophan, something like that. So with advancement of the broiler nutrition, we are not talking about only total amino acid, we are talking digestible. Not only digestible, we are talking also the ratio, the ideal protein ratio, they call it, to be absorbed by the animal and producing animal meat or egg. That's the advancement of the science right now.
Okay, digestible amino acid, not crude protein and total amino acid, right? because it
Correct.
doesn't reverse to quality, right, Dr. Budi?
Correct. This is true because many feed ingredient may contain high protein level, but not necessarily that amino acid is good. Although the amino acid total will be good, but not necessary that amino acid in feed ingredient is digested well by the animal. So we are talking about how much the amino acid that can be digested by the animal and absorbed.
Okay, you mentioned about NRC, right? And the latest one will come this year or maybe next year. So does NRC suggest to revert to digestible amino acid in its new recommendation?
Yeah, we don't know the new recommendation, but a lot of research has been done in the last 10 years. They are discussing about how much requirement on digestible amino acid. So say, for example, beside NRC, the Brazilian, they publish recommendation, separate recommendation. Everything will be referred toward digestible amino acid without mentioning too much on the protein. So as nutritionists, many nutritionists in the feed company also, they are formulating now with the digestible amino acid rather than the protein anymore.
Wow, interesting to know that Brazil has its own recommendation. And I hope that our region also has the same thing.
What I can suggest for our region, not necessarily we develop our own, because if you want to develop the table, we have to do a lot of research to prove it. There's sufficient research available, sufficient data available, because like a Brazilian table, they collected all the data all over the world, what the recommended level is supposed to be. The Brazilian is the latest one. Why? Because NRC, the latest publication is 1994. They haven't been doing new recommendation probably until this year or next year. That's the reason why the latest information you can find it from the Brazilian table to be independent. However, not only Brazilian table, there are many chicken company give the latest recommendation. In fact, they are updating every 2 years. The new table has been updated every 2 years because genetic progress of the chicken keep changing and the requirement may be changing. So that's the reason why a lot of nutrition recommendation guide published by genetic company, the chicken company nowadays.
I see. So what will be the positive and negative impacts if we keep using the minimum crude protein level system?
Oh, if you go back to the requirement of the animal, the excessive protein or excessive nitrogen or excessive amino acid, which is not utilized by the animal, will be digested by the microorganism inside the digestive tract. So there's a lot of report that if you're feeding too much protein or too much excess of amino acid, the Clostridium perfringens, for example, they causing a necrotic enteritis will proliferate and increasing the number. So that's the negative impact of feeding too much protein and too much amino acid, which is not well utilized by the animal. Secondly, if not well utilized with the animal, what happened? All the excess nitrogen will be coming out to the excreta, to the feces, and causing increasing level of ammonia in the litter. There's a lot of report that pododermatitis, which is all hook burn, what they call it also hook burn, which is the chicken feet become burn because excessive amount of the ammonia level in the litter. So there's bad impact. Beside, of course, ammonia releasing in the environment will be bad for the animal also to grow, because causing irritation in what happened in the lung. So easy to get sick for the animal. So there's negative impact. The third one with negative impact with feeding too much the protein will be environment. You remember that chicken excreta will be used for fertilizer. Many people using as fertilizer. And the excessive amount of the nitrogen casing may cause a kind of the pollution to the river system. There's a lot of waterways, and then will be contaminated with high nitrogen, causing algae bloom, they call it. So very bad for environment. That's reason why many, especially in Europe at the moment, they are putting so much emphasis that we have to consider environment. So we have to feed it proper nutrient, not excessive, not only in the nitrogen, but also in the phosphorus, because two important critical elements, which is nitrogen and phosphorus, will affect the environment. So that's the situation nowadays with advancement of the science and also concern with the environment. But if the nitrogen or amino acid is not enough, of course, the chicken production will not be optimized. So there's reason if there's not enough, for example, amino acid, the chicken will not grow properly. But if too much is not good. There's the reason why the new development on the nutrition at the moment, we have to do it what we call it the precision nutrition. We have to provide precise nutrient that can be absorbed by animal to maximize the performance, but also to minimize the cost and environment. So there's a concept of precision nutrition is coming now.
Yeah, and the tools are already available, right, for precision nutrition feeding.
Correct. That's true.
Yeah, a lot of nutrition companies offering with the advancement of artificial intelligence and other things to support the precision farming and precision nutrition feeding.
Not only that, because many feed company, also nutritional company, give recommendation. We have to calculate properly how much, for example, digestible lysine to be needed per day or per kilogram of body weight of the animal. So we have to provide precise, not in excessive, but sufficient to meet the requirement. So this is the concept at the moment. So we have to consider that one. In addition, of course, there's a lot of technology coming in to try to monitor how much the nutrient will be excessive by measuring, for example, the ammonia level or methane production, something like that. But as nutritionists, we have to go back to the principle in the formulation. We have to formulate diet in such a way that the content of the amino acid just meeting the requirement without excessive amount of the nitrogen.
Yeah, agree. And advanced equipment for analysis are also available, right, Dr. Budi, at the moment?
Correct. That's interesting with the development like NIR technology, which has been calibrated very well, and near-infrared reflectance spectroscopy. The machine can detect, can analyze without damaging the sample, try to measure how much the amino acid total. Not only that, when they are calibrated with the animal, they can estimate how much the digestible amino acid inside of the ingredient. So the nutritionist can use that data right away and formulate diet properly according to the specification and according to the ingredient they are using. So what we call it at the moment is in time formulation. So the formulation can be run in time and right away according to the situation in the feed company. So it's interesting development in the last probably 5 years just now.
Yeah, totally different with the situation in the past, like you answered in your first answer, right? It takes days, to get the results. Now it is
within a second. You can run it, put in the machine, the result will be available straight away.
Okay, so now we know that many formulators, nutritionists are formulating their broiler feeds based on digestible amino acids and even precision nutrition feeding. Now, I want to ask what kind of recommendations that you can offer to governments in the region to also change or adapt with the current advancement?
I don't know. In my personal opinion, government doesn't need to regulate the feeding standard. let the industry develop their own, because the industry know exactly how to feed the broiler, because they got the feedback from the customer. They can manipulate the diet easily, try to optimize the condition. That's the reason why, like a feed miller, they can develop 3 different grades of broiler feed. One is super one, a medium, or lower grade. They can do it.
Yeah.
The farmer can select which one is the best for them, try to minimize the cost. The purpose of feeding the broiler is try to minimize the cost to produce 1 kilo live weight or probably 1 kilo of meat. So government not necessary to get involved so much with controlling the formulation, the content of the nutrient, because industry, they understand quite well what they should do, try to minimize the cost of production. So there's no such kind of that, oh, I have to get the minimum protein 22% or the lysine 1.3%. Not necessary to be regulated, because the industry will understand quite well. They can do it themselves. What government can do, or probably the association, not necessarily government, give a guideline. There's a reason why the nutrition specification, they call it not the kind of the standard, but what do we call it? Nutrient recommendation. So the nutrient is recommended, not necessarily we have to follow exactly. If the cost production become very high, I can reduce, for example, 3% of the nutrient, but still much more profitable rather than maximum the nutrient. So the decision have to be made, not controlled by the government. Let the industry do it, try to optimize the condition. What the government can do for me, check it what the claim in the label. You know that every feed production they have the label. What the feed mill claim it. Say for example, the calcium level have to be 0.9%. Government may check it whether the label exactly what the content inside of the feed. So the controlling based on the label what the claim of the industry. That's the reason why my recommendation to Indonesian government, for example, is not necessary to put metabolizable energy level in the broiler diet, because very difficult to measure it.
Yeah, they
And
still
then,
put it on the label, right?
yeah, not necessary to be put in the level. You cannot measure it.
Yeah.
So, and then why we have to feed it, for example, 3,000 kilocalorie? If I can reduce it, for example, 50 calorie and a cheaper cost, just raise broiler with feed conversion probably only 2 point worse. So what's wrong with that one? I still can keep the broiler, can produce broiler in the cheaper way. So there's no such kind of the rule have to be followed exactly. That's the only for nutrition is recommendation. So many country in the Philippines also, if you look at NRC is kind of the guideline, a recommendation, not necessarily have to be like that. So this is critical concept that the government have to follow, that the government cannot control everything because the science has been more advanced and the industry understand quite well. They can produce the feed which is economically for the farmer, very economic for the farmer without controlling that one. Government farmer will select which one of the broiler feed can be suitable for them. So let them do it themselves while the government is controlling, protecting what the claim from the industry through the label. And secondly, controlling antibiotic, the drug that can protect the consumer. If there's residual drug detected in the meat will affect the consumer. That's our job of the government to protect that the feed without antibiotic, for example. They have to test it that the feed produced by the company without antibiotic. So this is the function of the government, protecting the consumer without involve so much on the nutrient requirement.
Feed safety for food safety, right?
Correct. That's more important because nutrient is changing. Recommendation is changing every year. And I don't think the government will be able to cope with advancement of the science every year.
Yeah.
So this is my suggestion to the government.
Too fast to follow for the governments, right? It seems.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think the broiler industry is also changing, right, Dr. Budi? And a lot of
Right.
consolidations we found in the market. We don't see so many small scale farmers anymore. So now, I guess more and more producers, broiler producers, are knowledgeable about the quality of broiler feed. They don't see the label and just look at the percentage of the crude protein and just believe it.
True. As nutritionist, what the matter with the protein? I can produce higher protein by filling up, for example, with feather meal, which is high in protein, 85%. You can increase the protein level easily by putting this ingredient, but not necessary to be good quality.
Yeah,
If the feather meal is not digested
undigestible.
well. So very easy for nutritionist in formulation. I can change the minimum of the protein level by putting something else which is not very good for the animal. You can do it. So
Yeah.
what's the function of the protein level at the moment? So I recommend that probably a good recommendation for how much digestible amino acid have to be provided in the broiler starter, grower, and finisher without limiting the protein level. However, to protect the consumer, the farmer, when buying the feed, if the feed company putting the level, say, I put it 21% minimum, prove it that the claim from the feed company is really fulfilled in reality. So to protect the consumer rather than cheated by the company. So that's the function of the government without involving so much how much metabolizable energy, how much the digestibilizing, because very difficult to measure metabolizable energy and also very difficult to measure how much the digestible amino acid in the feed. Take probably weeks to do that.
Wow.
And we need a sophisticated laboratory to evaluate the content like this. So that's why what the recommended can do, what the government can do, we just give the recommendation to the industry what kind of the feed have to be fulfilled, not necessary to be enforcing by the law, but only recommendation.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add, Dr. Budi, that we haven't covered?
Now, what the other recommendation for the government is government have to change. So if you control the regulation, review the regulation probably at least 5 years at the time, because the scientific knowledge is keep developing, and the new scientific knowledge is coming up. The bird, the animal is changing, the environment is changing. So the best thing is that the regulation can be put it by the government, but they have to review it every probably 5 years to update it, the information from the field. This is my recommendation to the government.
Well, interesting discussion, Dr. Budi. Thank you very much.
Sure. Hope my information can be useful to the audience and can be benefited for the country too.
Thank you for listening to another Asian Agribase podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this show on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcast. Visit www.asian-agribase.com for more on Asia's animal protein industry.